The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask is a interesting game for the Zelda series. There is no Hyrule, no Zelda, no Ganondorf, and none of the titular Triforce that we see in every other Zelda game. But despite this, The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask is beloved by all the fans and critics. But why is that? Well, there's a few reasons. One is the story. The game begins right off from where Ocarina of Time left. Link just told Zelda about Ganondorf and he's now heading out to find Navi after Navi left Link at the end of Ocarina of Time in the Temple of Time. Link sets out on an adventure through the Lost Woods where he finds the Skull Kid who tries robbing him of his Ocarina of Time. A giant chase happens and Link gets turned into a Deku Scrub. He then approaches the land of Termina and finds the Happy Day salesman. He then goes around town and tries to figure out where the Skull Kid went and how to stop him. And he only has 3 days to find him. At the end of the 3 days, we see the moon crash down on the land of Termina, and Link gets his Ocarina of Time back, which he uses to rewound time to back to the first day and talk to the happy salesman man to revert him back into his regular human form. And this is the whole story of the game. Link is forced to repeat the same 3 day cycle over and over again to try and find a way to stop the Majora's Mask and the Skull Kid from destroying the Earth by using the moon to crush everyone in the land of Termina. The main quest for this game is quite short, shorter than most Zelda games. It features only 4 dungeons, where you need to recruit the 4 giants in aiding you to help lift the moon so it doesn't fall on the planet. But what sets this game apart from the other games are the side quests. We see all the NPCs' lives and how they play out without Link. Their lives seem to be miserable and they're in need of desperate help. Anju and Cafe need help trying to reunite with each other. The old lady gets robbed and needs help replenishing her ammo store. The Zora need help grieving over their friend. And Romani and her sister need help freeing up Milk Road and delivering the milk so their business can stay blooming. We, as the player, aren't forced to do anything. We cannot help them. But if we do, we see how their lives will change. We can help them in different ways. But if we don't, we will see how their lives get worse. Romani's farm gets robbed of its cows, and the milk gets stolen from them while on a shipment. The old lady gets robbed, and she can't replenish her store, slowly getting her business, slowly going out of business. The Zora can never recover. And the Nanju's scene, waiting in the hotel room for her lover as the moon is falling down, preying on the last hopes that he'll arrive. We see this story play out without Link. We are given a choice. What happens to these NPCs is entirely on us on whether we do the quest or not. It gives the player more agency and control over the game than any other Zelda game has ever given them. And I feel like this is what makes players feel more emotion to Termina than anything else. Recently, after playing Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, I've grown more connected to Termina, more connected to its people. I know where everyone is, I know what everyone's 3 day cycle is, because I've managed to feel more connected to them than I did with the NPCs of Ocarina of Time. It's not that the NPCs there weren't good, but they were just not as good as here. The dynamic NPC lives here make them feel so much more alive, relatable, and makes you feel so much more emotion for them, as you see Anju waiting, as you see the Goron sleeping outside the cafe, and it just makes you feel a lot more emotions for these NPCs and characters than you would have for anywhere else. Another thing that makes this game great is the gameplay mechanics with the introduction of the masks. There are 3 main transformation masks: the Goron, the Deku Scrub, and the Zora. The Goron is hard-hitting and bulky, but he is quite slow. The Deku Scrub is fast and agile, but not great in combat, and the Zora Man, while being an absolute beast in the ocean, swimming fast and great in underwater combat, he is not that great to use on the ground. All 3 of these are perfectly balanced with their own pros and their own cons. The other masks don't really transform you, like the Bomb Mask, the Stone Mask, the Great Fairy Mask, or the Scent Mask, but they all have their unique benefits that will help you in your playthrough. The Fairy Mask will allow you to lure fairies, which will lead you to Great Fairy Fountains, and allow you to get different items like the Great Fairy Sword, or half as damage dealt from enemies. The Bomb Mask will no longer make you need to carry physical bombs, you can just put on the mask and explode random walls to reveal hidden passages. All this is perfect balancing because all of these masks are useful to the player, but not in a broken way, and these are all optional masks aside from the main three masks which you will receive throughout the course of the regular main quest. This is perfect because this will make the player want to get these masks because the perks of them are just enough to make the player want to get them, but not enough to make the gameplay feel broken or the fact that these masks are way too OP. This is perfect gameplay balancing, which I feel like is what makes Majora's Mask different because this is also one of the few games which allows you to transform into different creatures. Aside from Twilight Princess, where you can transform into the Wolf Link, this game is quite unique in that fashion, and it really gives a huge new layer of depth to it and the emotional story behind the masks, how you get them. With for example, the Goron mask came from a warrior who died, who bargains to come back to land of the living through the Song of Healing and begs Link to play it so he can come back. And the Zora man having a final wish with being buried on the sea, and he plays his guitar for the one last time. All these give huge emotional impacts to the mask you're wearing and make you feel for them. Although Majora's Mask may not have the things that people would say a normal Zelda game should have, like the Triforce or the Master Sword, but it's still one of the best Zelda games out there. This is mostly part because of the story and how symbolism ties into this. Every stage you visit in Majora's Mask is meant to represent one of the 5 stages of grief. Termina itself is meant to represent denial, with the townsfolk people denying the moon crashing down. The Deku's king is meant to represent anger in the southern swamp, with him being angry over his daughter, the princess, going missing. Bargaining with Darmania, the Goron, who's a great warrior but unfortunately passed away, and he begs Link to use magic to heal him so he could come back to life. Depression with Lulu and the Zora as they're in depression with their band and with the death of a member, and finally acceptance in Stone Tower Temple. All of this is made for Link. Link, at the end of Ocarina of Time, was robbed of his childhood and then forced back into it with all the trauma of an adult. And at the end of the game, in the Temple of Time, Navi leaves him. I was watching a Swagmaster video the other day where someone commented by saying Navi leaving Link is meant to signify his childhood coming to an end and all of his innocence going away after defeating Ganondorf at the end of Ocarina of Time and being sent back to the Temple of Time. And then Link sets out to find Navi, and this whole trip is basically him accepting the fact that his childhood is gone, him helping others in the land of Termina to help accept this fact. This is excellent and beautiful writing, which always makes me think more about this game even while I'm not playing it. And these are all the reasons I think, in my personal opinion, Majora's Mask is the best Zelda game and why it's so beloved by fans, it even though it breaks the mold on many traditional things a Zelda game should have, it's still one of the best Zelda games out there of all time.